All right, January 6th. It is happening on Netflix.
Yeah.
Raw on Netflix.
Yeah.
Did you, at any point, like 3-4 years ago, did you think, like, I'm going to be one of the faces of this gigantic show that's on the most popular streaming service in the world?
No, but I stay ready, apparently. And yeah, I'm front and center on a lot of the signage I've seen. It's kind of daunting.
But by the way, I did notice that the other day. I'm like, oh, well, Punk is like in the middle. Does that like feel good that there's that much confidence, excitement in what you've been doing?
I mean, yeah, it feels good to a point, but I also am somebody who tries to live pretty private and incognito, so they're just putting me on blast. But I get it. I understand. I'm here. That's why I'm here. I'm here to promote. I'm here to help Netflix, and Netflix is here to help us. I'm very excited.
How would you rate? It's been now, let's see, it was Survivor almost a year? Are we already past a year? No, it's coming up on a year.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on a year, Survivor Series in Chicago. I remember because I had no idea you were back, and when we were doing the kickoff show, I said Chicago, where the wrestling fans are the best in the world. I meant nothing by it, and of course, you know, the Dirts were like, oh, people know. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the person who would know if CM Punk is back. Of course, you come back that night. We're coming up on a year.
Yeah.
How would you review year one back in WWE?
I mean, aside from the whole tricep injury and the surgery, you know, like, but we really turned chicken shit into chicken salad with that one. Like that.
It doesn't feel like it defined the year.
Almost a little bit of a gift. I think people forget that I was hurt because I was such a focal point, just doing what we do, you know, entertaining people. I don't want to grade myself. I leave that to the fans and my peers, the people I work for. They can go ahead and grade it. I've had the time of my life, though, coming back. I weigh this past year up against any year of my entire career.
Well, I would say certainly the Drew Punk story is in the conversation for best stories you've ever told. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, yeah, let the fans grade. I think the fans enjoyed it, but you're satisfied with what's happened so far. And what level of expectation do you have expectations for the next year? Are there things out there that you're really eager to do? We're kind of in that in-between period of what's next for CM Punk.
Yeah, you know, I think we pick up where we left off. You know, like the tricep injury really threw a monkey wrench into everything. Plans for WrestleMania, plans I had for myself, plans I had for other people, if you know what I mean. So to me, I'm really fortunate. I get to relive the past year. I get to have another comeback, another return. I get to have another road to WrestleMania. And, you know, I think for me, what's left in my career to do? So, like, right now, everything is just frosting on top of a pretty badass cake. I'm here to enjoy the ride, honestly. Riding the wave.
How different does this place feel? You were obviously among the most outspoken people there's ever been about the things you didn't like when you were here the first time. A lot has changed. What tangibly feels different about this version of WWE for you?
I think it's just the business as a whole has changed so much. From the biggest thing is the amount of dates you work. And I'm not talking about work as in come in and play on a microphone. I'm talking, you know, getting your ass beat in a ring Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, fly home. Oh, we need you Tuesday. Fly back out, do a dark match on Tuesday, fly back home Wednesday, maybe get a chance to do laundry, and then you're back on the road Friday. Like, it's just a different animal. That's all gone. And I think that is going to not only save a lot of careers, I think it's probably going to save a lot of people's sanity. I know it saved mine.
There's been like more and more chatter, I feel like, about the possibility of your lovely bride being back in wrestling. She is like maybe second to you in terms of people that people so wanted to get more from. You're going to say she's past you.
She 100% supersedes me. Yeah, like that's the fun thing about wrestling fans. Like, as you said, you just said, oh, Chicago fans are the best in the world. They look for stuff that necessarily isn't there. But I think that's kind of the fun of it. Everyone's talking about, oh, well, who's going to main event WrestleMania? who's going to, enter the Royal Rumble, who's going to come back. And they're always looking around this time of year for big returns. I had mine last year. I think hers would be bigger than mine, but again, I'm kind of hands off on the deal.
Did you see a sparkle in her eye though when you started coming back? Like let me put it this way: did it garner more interest from her now than when you went to AEW, for example? Like, because this is where she has experience. This is what was her home.
Yeah, I would say it definitely did, but I also think it's more of it's a workload thing for her. She's very, very busy, and I'm not trying to not talk about it, but I'm also trying to temper people's expectations. If she wraps up some stuff that she's working on and she has the time and she feels like dipping her toe back in or jumping back in the pool, she'll let us know.
It is pretty crazy too. I talked about this recently. She left and the business for women was still different than it is now. She would be coming back into, she was the end of the Divas era, right? Like this women's revolution. I have to imagine, because she resonated with everybody, but women so much. It would be very cool for her to be around in this era of women's wrestling, I feel like.
I think her and I are similar in the regard that we're kind of out of time. You could pluck us both off from where we started and put us in any kind of era. I definitely think she would thrive here. She thrived back then when the focus wasn't women. And now this past week, every single television show we had was opened with a women's match and main evented with a women's match. You can't tell me that she wouldn't fit in there.
Who else is out there right now that, like, obviously Rollins, you and Seth doing something we know would be awesome. There's real history there. There was real history, honestly, at least it seemed there was real history with you and Drew. I truthfully know nothing about it. I just watched it and was like, I don't know, I get the sense that there's some real animosity that exists between these two.
Oh, I hate everybody and everybody hates me.
It's certainly how it feels. Who besides Seth, though, is appealing or exciting at this stage for you?
I feel I've been asked this at various stages of my career recently. There's guys that I'm still reconciling with the schedule, right? I'm reconciling with the fact that I am not 30 years old. So when you ask me, who do you want to get in the ring with? I go, the list it's pretty lengthy. I think Chad Gable's on the top of the list. I think Bronson Reed's on the top of the list. Kaiser is somebody I see a lot in. I think could be fun. Gunther, and I'm selfishly talking about guys that I would love to wrestle on house shows. But then you talk about the money stuff. You talk about the marquee stuff. You talk about what is a match that you could see main eventing a pay-per-view. And that's what gets my juices flowing.
Right.
I think whenever myself and Roman Reigns are face-to-face on television, I think that's going to be a moment. I think there's the table set for myself and Cody, and you never know when The Rock's going to come back.
There's also Big Match John, too.
There's Big Match John coming right around the corner. Another guy that I don't want to talk about because he's going to do his own thing. And if I'm a part of that, what a fortunate career I've had. But John deserves everything that he wants. He can call his own shot is basically what I'm saying. But yeah, I'd love to get hands on him too.
Have you and Roman spent any time together since you've gotten back?
We're on different shows, and I feel like with my injury and his time off and everything, I saw him at WrestleMania. It's the last time I saw him.
Because there is something fascinating to me about, like, he's become a different person since you left. Like, you left and you were a big dog, and he was somewhat, oh, no pun intended. Sorry. That's not his thing anymore anyway, that's dead. He's a tribal chief now. But he was the big guy, and you were the big guy, and he was kind of the kid, and now he has become a whole face of this industry. Yep. I just wonder what that dynamic would be like. What was your dynamic like the first time around? Did you have much interaction? I mean, you basically missed each other. His big run was before you were gone, no?
Yeah, but if you look back at when the Shield
debuted, the Shield messed you up, though. That's right, of course.
They came here and made a whole ton of waves in a short amount of time, and my relationship with all those guys was pretty good. You know, I just had to get the hell out of here.
It was time
for my own sanity. But yeah, I mean, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think a lot of the questions you have, like, oh, what is Punk's relationship with Roman? What does Punk feel about Seth? I think all that stuff's going to play out on television because that's what I do.
I know, but by the way, that's why, I can only speak for me, that's why I love having you on TV. Because to me, that's when a promo's compelling, is when I'm going, there's something here. It's cool when two people randomly get together and you have a great match, but when you know you're hearing a story that means something, that's why we're into this thing.
Yeah. I think wrestling fans love drama, you know? So when you tune into Raw and SmackDown, you want to see the big names, like the big money stuff. You want to see, you know, oh, what's Rock going to do? What's Punk going to do? What's Roman going to do? John Cena's coming back. You throw Cody in the mix. He's the champ. Gunther. You get all of those big names and those big superstars, you know, revolving in that same area, and sparks are going to fly and shit's going to happen.
Let's talk about the most important thing in our lives, dogs.
Yeah.
Is the traveling thing hard with Larry, who's getting up there? I have 2 senior dogs. We talked about that recently. Is that, I hate being away from them. How is it for you?
Yeah, it's terrible, honestly. He's developed some pretty severe separation anxiety as he's gotten older too. All he wants to do, I saw a cartoon one time. It was a man and his dog sitting on a log, like in the forest. The thought bubble for the guy is, you know, like money and a boat and a car and a house and all this stuff. And the thought bubble for the dog is the dog and the guy sitting on a log. That's all he wants. So when I'm home, man, I'm home. And we trade off. Like, she'll go work out and I sit with him, and we always make sure somebody's with him, because when he's alone, he's just not feeling it. He's not a happy guy. So my life is to make him happy, you know.
Were you always a dog person? Was this always your personality?
Oh yeah, 100%.
What did you grow up with?
I had a Dalmatian.
How was the Dalmatian personality was?
She was great. She loved me, and she didn't like a whole lot of other people. Yeah.
They're a picky. I feel like Dalmatians are a pickier breed.
I think they're temperamental. Yeah, I think they have an attitude problem.
Do you spend a lot of time? Because me and my wife, and by the way, our Maltese, so our Corgi, I feel so bad because he's so good. He's such a good boy that we can leave him for 5 hours when we need to. Rocky, I love him to death, separation anxiety, he goes everywhere with us. He was just at the Tyson fight with us in Dallas. He moves around. But I'm not going to lie to you, I try not to overdo it, but I spend a lot of time thinking about their mortality, and it's very hard.
Yeah.
Do you struggle with that, and how do you put that aside and just be present and enjoying the moment?
Well, I bought Larry a stroller. You know, like if I'm going to leave the house to go grocery shopping or something like that, it's easier to just bring him with, you know, and he'll walk, and then when we get to the store, I'll pick him up, I'll put him in the stroller, and he loves it because he's like eye level with everybody. He's the king of the castle. He just looks around and he doesn't act out. It's great. It's when he sees the suitcase come out.
That's the moment, right?
Sees me throwing stuff in there. Yeah.
How are they so smart with the suitcase thing?
They're very smart.
It's every dog I've ever known. They see the suitcase, they get it's like such an it's crazy. All right, before I let you get out of here, are there any? I'm not going to ask you what you think I'm asking. I'm not talking about the press conference. Do you have any regrets from AEW with regard to matches that didn't happen or stories that didn't get told?
Do I? Oh,
where there's
it's such a loaded question.
So let me reframe it so it doesn't sound that way. Was there someone you didn't get to tell a story with that you would have liked to have told the story?
No.
You feel like you hit the ones that you wanted to hit?
I feel like I wasted some matches on some people for sure, but that is what it is. Like, some people understand the business, some people don't, you know. And I think everybody here understands the business.
Yeah, it's an incredible. Were you surprised by how dope the locker room was when you came back? Like, it is a really almost surprising. I think the internet would be shocked at how positive a place it is.
Oh no, we all hate each other, and everybody hates me.
Right, exactly.
Keep it alive.
Sorry, Brian. I'm not good at this business.
Keep it alive, bro.
CM Punk. Thank you, dude.